Are you ready to unleash your full potential and become unstoppable in your success and leadership?
Welcome to the Unleashed and Unstoppable podcast, where we provide powerful insights and strategies for coaches, corporate leaders, and entrepreneurs. I'm Alexanne Carter.
And I'm Carol Register, and we're certified master neurocoaches who are passionate about helping you overcome your limiting beliefs and optimize your performance.
Each week, we'll be sharing actionable tips and strategies using neuroscience, from interviews with industry experts to solo episodes to help you lead a life of power, purpose, and possibility on your own terms.
Join our community of like-minded individuals. Hit subscribe now and let's be unleashed and unstoppable together. Hey, beautiful leaders. Here we are again. We're back helping you to become, well, not even helping you to become, get rid of that. You are unleashed and unstoppable, and we're just leaning in on that vibration right there. Today, we have the amazing, incredible, and outstandingly beautiful Heather Marianna. Been with her in person. I was just like, oh my goodness, can we just vibe with that kind of beauty? And she is incredible with all of the things she does. She has up her sleeve, from taking a company public, being the majority shareholder of that company, being able to lean into luxury brands. She is a beauty brand coach. She can set you up every which way with white labeling, wholesaling, all of the things that you love to do around having a product. And she says, don't even lean into it. What's that quote? I always say, if you're not into makeup or skincare, don't do this. You have to be passionate about it. And that's what we're about, is our passion and our dreams and leaning into what we really love. She also is an amazing gifting suite hostess, the #1 celebrity gifting suite for the Emmys and the Oscars. I just participated in the Emmys gifting suite. It was incredible. A-list celebrities, media, the other sponsors, high-level sponsors that were there, the networking and the community that she will draw you into. I'm telling you right now, you're going to want to pay attention to this episode. Heather, I'm so glad you're here.
Okay. Thank you both so much for having me, by the way.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Well, I know there's a lot around what you do, from the coaching, now doing a manifesting retreat, Camp Manifest, to
another thing.
another thing.
What you doing over here?
Yeah, marketing expert, beauty line expert, product expert. I mean, we could go on and on. Share with us what you'd love for us to know.
Well, my name is Heather Marianna, and for anybody who watches this, thank you for watching. I do the #1 gifting lounge for Oscars and Emmys. Story time, I guess. I was a sponsor for 9 years with Doris Bergman. She did the best event. And when she passed away in 2022, I was asked to take over. Quite frankly, to be honest with you, I didn't want to do it. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. But however, I'm very glad I did, because the rewards are so worth it. Like when I see the brands and still, getting media and, saying, oh my God, I met this person and now I'm going to Cannes Film Festival and my brand's going to be there and I don't have to pay and all that stuff. That's what it's about, all the connections. And that really makes me happy. And then the work kind of you forget about how much work it is because you're like, oh, this was great. And then, so that's one of the main things that I do. And then obviously I've been in manufacturing and consulting, PR marketing and stuff like that for many, many years. I'm the girl behind a lot of big brands. I can source anything. I always tell everyone that I'm working on stuff right now for a lot of e-commerce, Instagrammers, that do e-com. And so I'm the girl behind a lot of those brands and those products. And, designing because I have been working with South Korea and China for 15 years. So I have all the contacts. So I can really help people go
Yeah.
from A to Z quicker because instead of spending hours and hours and hours on like Alibaba or any of those other websites and vetting manufacturers and maybe losing money, right? And not getting the correct samples or not knowing the shipping. Like a lot of people are really scared of tariffs right now. I have relationships with China and they have ways to ship for my customers tariff free.
That's amazing.
So I'm a
I
good
love your
resource for
product.
anyone.
Yeah, too. I mean, the products that you sell under your beauty
Yeah.
kitchen label, and they're clean, they're preservative free, they tend to be like not filled with a bunch of junk. They're things I feel good about putting on my skin. It's not with all of the packed with all of the preservatives. And I am like, I'm the hippie before hippies were hippies. So like I love
Yeah.
that.
Beauty Kitchen was my but like my first brand that I ever did, and it's still around. We do a lot of wholesaling with that brand, more B2B business than anything. And that was actually the brand that I was promoting when I first started sponsoring the gifting lounges.
Oh,
And I loved it. And that was back in the day. I always joke around before influencers kind of ruined everything. You could just tweet celebrities and be like, "Hey, can I have your address? I want to send
yeah.
you this coffee cellulite scrub." That's like the one thing I was hawking back then. And they would just give me their address and then they would tweet about it. And it was just such a simpler time, you know?
Yeah, definitely. In fact, you bring up something that did want to ask you about, lean in and ask you about when you took over the gifting lounges, like all of the research and my own experience lean into how enjoyable it is. The media and celebrities that were there hung out forever,
All day. Yeah.
and so, from what I understand from the background you came from, you made some significant changes to the atmosphere, the energy. So, I'd love
I
for you to talk
did.
about that.
I did. So when I took it over because I was a sponsor. So I think this is why I have so many repeat sponsors. And I really don't, once I get on the phone with a brand, they usually want to come because I was the sponsor. I was the one behind the table. I was setting up. I was like falling over when my banner would fall over. I was doing all the
Yeah.
things, and paying Doris and her unofficial unpaid assistant for 9, 10 years. And so the changes that I made were I increased the amount of photographers that we have, as well as adding videographers. So we have a team of 12, and that's just for the party. And then we also have additional people for the red carpet. And I get the photos to everyone within 30. The Google Drive links are actually delivered before the party
Yeah.
even happens, right?
Wow.
From my photography team.
Yeah.
So all of the photos are uploaded probably within 24 to 36 hours because there's thousands and thousands and they're high res and they're big, big files. But because when I was with, Doris, it'd take us a couple weeks to get our pictures, I added the 20-foot red carpet. And another big change that I did that most gifting lounges don't do, even though I think they're starting to follow suit. I know a lot of people
Yeah.
are watching
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
That's okay.
It's
I'm still
true.
always going to be the best, everybody.
You're the
So
trendsetter.
so I make sure that the media is gifted. I feel like the media is often overlooked.
Yeah.
You can't expect someone to come to your event, take time out of their day and write about you and then create and post an article. It takes time to write the article and all of that stuff without having them gifted. So only celebrities and media are gifted. Another thing that I did was we no longer allow influencers.
Yeah.
The only influencer that I would allow at my event would be if somebody was just like crazy viral hot at the moment and they have to post every single brand
Yeah.
and they would have to like literally be there all day posting and
Because you
tagging.
were curating the energy of that event the whole way through. We all knew it. We all could feel it. And I will tell you, Heather's communication with us as sponsors was spot on, way above and beyond any other sponsorship I've ever participated in. And talking about getting those photographs afterwards, I've participated in events that were big deal events with lots of media, and it took a year. to get all the info a year. That doesn't make any
Yeah.
sense, right?
I'm so organized with the sponsors. Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah. Yeah. You
Well, I was
have,
so impressed because I saw like Carol's stories and it was like, oh my goodness, look at that shot and love my good. And I was very impressed. I was like saying to myself, like, man, I wonder how Carol got that. Like it, you know, and I was like, did she have someone with her like taking these photos? Because it was so
Yeah.
like real time in the things that she was sharing. And so watching Carol attending that,
Yeah.
that was really to really like it kind of had you feel like you were really there. And now just so many assets that she can reuse for that. So
Yeah.
it's amazing. I just want to point out things about this is what I like to do, like to listen for little themes and trends. And something that I've noticed that you're really leaning into, Heather, and I want to lean in for, you know, the leader who's listening today is the, you know, we've talked about this before on the podcast and have this is something that's actually been on my heart a lot lately is how the connection is currency and how key that you're really driving home the importance of relationship.
yep.
One thing that's happened to me since I've moved to Panama is relationships are built so much more in person, and I'm getting to attend a lot more in person and getting to network in person, which is for me it's first time in a really long time. And I've watched Carol, you know, in-person event of attend in-person events for the last a while in her networking. But I just want to reiterate, like that's what I'm hearing you say is like nothing beats connection. And when you're connected to the right people, that's why connection is currency. It can fast track
Oh,
the
yeah.
results you're looking for because of that. And I just think so it seems to be also a very common thing, even though we drive this home the importance of it. It is something that really scares people.
Yeah.
Like we look at the neuroscience, right? This connection and being in person with people. There's also like so much internal dialogue and subconscious around this. I would really love to know for you, like obviously you're really tapping into your confidence and your courage and your connection to create what you've created. But I'm really curious to know, like, what does it take for you, or were there moments where it wasn't maybe as easy, or anything that you prime yourself with, you know, to really be that vibrant, attracting individual that, you know, I can tell that
That
you
you
are,
are. Yeah.
and that you're, you know, you're so that there can just be more female leaders out there who are doing the same. Because I mean, right, we know our brain and we know how it stops us. And I really want to be a stand for that because I feel like more people could just, I guess, right, get out of their own way.
Yeah.
We would be such a more connected society, especially obviously over the last couple of years with how things have like how like you know things just changed, right? And everything went very digital and very virtual and very like became very disconnected. So just being a stand for that like real connection. And yeah, I'm just really curious. Like I'm always like, what goes on in the brain of someone who's so confident and courageous to create what you've created? Because it does obviously take some grit and resiliency and that connection. So I'd love for you to speak into that a little bit if you don't
I,
mind sharing. Like, yeah,
yeah.
what's underneath for you?
I think with the events, I think for me it was more because I was a sponsor, so I could see,
Mm-hmm.
and I can really just kind of already know what they need. You know,
Yeah.
like when I'm sending the emails out, I'm like, okay, let me put myself in their shoes. You know, let me resend this and just, you know,
Mm-hmm.
reiterate. Because a lot of times I think the main, you know, a lot of times people are like, oh, I'm not ready, you know,
Mm-hmm.
in anything in life, right? I
Yeah.
sure was not ready to do my first event. I mean, you should have seen it. It was an S show behind the scenes, okay? But I learned a lot and
Yeah.
I
Mm-hmm.
perfected and I continue to perfect. And when things don't go the right way, like Carol, that her stuff didn't even show up. She had to pivot, redo, go to FedEx. I always say Kinko's. I date myself.
Yeah. I get that.
You know, and get all her stuff done. But you have to just, you know, shuffle it around, pivot, and just stay at task. Another thing, you know, especially like with coaching and my clients, I tell them all like delegate everything that you do not need to do, all busy work. You know, there's a lot going on behind the scenes. Like my house is getting decorated for Christmas right now, you know. I've got all kinds of you know, you got to have help. You know, you can't do it all yourself. I like to be the front person for my clients, the sponsors for the events and things like that because I like to be clear and concise And sometimes, even if you're training someone, I don't want the wrong information to get out there because then it's just something you got to clean up. So if I can have other people helping with other things, then I can be there for the sponsors. I can do the Zoom calls with them. I do a full 1 hour with every sponsor, just like a regular coaching call. No additional charge. Just I want them set up for success because I remember all of the mistakes I made when I first started doing the gifting lounge as a sponsor. And then I know all the tricks that I've learned for
Yeah.
the 10 years I was a sponsor, how to get people's information, say you have a product, like we have this really, really cool sponsor. No one knows this yet. I'm going to tell you. She owns a wellness center. She's a doctor and she has this new, this innovative way. And I just think this can be so great for for the attendees. It looks like a GLP-1 kind of patch,
Yeah.
the blood draw. She's doing full hormone panels
Wow.
on all of the guests if they want to do it. And then
Wow.
so she didn't even think of this. I'm like, you have a competitive advantage. Like they need to contact you to get their results. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? So you already are going to have everybody's information. Plus they have to do a waiver,
Yeah.
So I've had people like doing, I think outside the box so that people are really set up for success, even with my
Yeah.
clients, like even with contract manufacturing. I had a conversation with somebody last night and they had no idea that, they're like, well, somebody can get that same exact product for us for 30 cents. I said, 30 cents. It's going to be full of castor oil, fillers. You have to go to the right manufacturers because they will give you a product,
Yeah.
let's say that is whatever they're giving you, but all of the ingredient list is going to be your ingredient list, but that's not necessarily what's in there because they're banking on you not testing it. So you have to work with the right people and make sure that everybody in every single aspect that I work with, they're all set up for success. You
Right.
know,
And you're so to me, it was communication.
yeah.
The communication was consistent. It was so clear. It was all these extra
Everything was
tips.
on the same email thread so that the new sponsors could catch up. It's
Yeah.
all organized.
Because
Um,
I'm a newbie. I was a complete newbie. I've never done one of these gifting suites as a sponsor for sure. And it was so interesting to just be in the participation. Like everything you did to take care of everybody was
breakfast,
incredible.
sponsor meetup. I do a sponsor meetup
Lunch. Yeah.
before. I mean, I'm even thinking because everybody is going to have to be wristbanded from now on, like even the plus ones, because it was just people. I had
Yeah.
to call people don't even know behind the scenes. I had to call the LAPD.
Yeah.
It was insanity.
Yeah.
People trying to crash. People trying to give me wads of cash to get in. It was insane. I was like, no.
And
So
your
I'm
security team was so helpful just to
they're
feel
good.
and
They're
have
good.
their presence, right?
So I'm even thinking, okay, if I'm a sponsor and I have to wear a wristband, I don't want to wear a colored wristband so I gotta match my outfit. So I'm like searching for clear wristbands just for the sponsors because I don't want to
Love
ruin
you.
your outfits,
Yeah.
right? Like
Love
I
that.
think of
Love that.
everything, because I'm like, I don't want to be on a red carpet with my dress and have this orange wristband on. You know what I mean?
The celebrities that you had there were absolutely the loveliest people.
So
Every
nice.
single one of them that came was, yeah, they were just so kind, so down to earth. You had handlers take them around, and introduce them to each of us. I mean, just
And the
little
flow of the
details like
party.
that. Yeah,
And the flow of the party was good because
yeah,
Emmys is so big, and you'll see the difference when you come back to Oscars. It's we take over that whole downstairs of that hotel, the outdoor, everything. So I do even thinking this way is we had 4 entry points. So once they did the red carpet, the
yeah,
escort took them either to the garden, to the patio, to the pool area, or inside. I
yeah,
noticed it was taking a little longer for people to come into the restaurant. So we switched it and I said, go restaurant, 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 then the other 3 entry points, restaurant. So the restaurant area got really full, which is where you
yeah,
were, because there
yeah.
was less brands in there so that,
Mm,
they went out into the party. And it's just curating even the setup. Like,
yeah,
okay, food's going to be here and now I'm going to have sponsors here. What points am I going to put the alcoholic beverages?
yeah.
Because you don't want to
Mm,
have two alcohols next to each other because they're not going to grab a gin and then grab a tequila.
right.
So the flow of everything, and everything is just so thought through.
Everything was curated, every detail. And do you run other events in addition to this?
I just launched Camp Manifest. So
Mm.
excited because I'm big on manifesting, obviously crystals, everything. I'm doing it with my good girlfriend Lisa. She also has a podcast, and she's an intuitive. She's going to do readings. We're doing sound healing, and we are doing it at the most magical place. It's called Calamigos Ranch in Malibu. And
Mm.
it's so magical. I've done so many solo birthdays there. My senior dog, they're the one that's barking. His birthday is actually the day after mine. So we've spent a lot of birthdays there together. Great property, great food, all top shelf, everything. So we're really excited. The first group is invitation only. So, we want to make sure we have a small group, everyone we know, and sound healing, yoga, Reiki. We're doing official camp merch, inaugural troop 888. It's like we're gonna actually, and no one knows this yet, but I'm gonna say, so the movie Troop Beverly Hills is kind of what inspired this, right? Because we want to bring more women together. Because when you
Mhm.
get, I'm gonna be 48 next year, and once you get a little older, I find that it's harder to make really good quality friends. Because especially if you're at a certain point in your career or whatever, you might be like, why do they want to hang out with me now? You know what I mean? Like, what? There's always an angle, right? So, we really wanted to get women together that could create friendships, do business together, and things like that.
Yeah.
And so during the movie Troop Beverly Hills, they go do a diamond patch, right? They go to a jewelry store. We have a Beverly Hills jeweler coming to us, bringing diamonds, and is going to teach about diamonds. And then they're going to get their patch. And then when they get there, I'm so excited for this. They're going to have a canvas bag where they can put all their patches on there. True, like camp merch, hats, water bottles, the whole thing. But what another thing that's so great is because we're going to have, a small group of women, and they're all going to post. So then I was able to reach out to my sponsors and say, hey, would you want to send 20, 30 items for the gift bags? And then they're going to get 30 more posts. And then, of course, that's a free opportunity for them, just cost them products. So, I mean, whoever comes, they're going to get so much swag. We're
Yeah.
very excited for that. And it's the perfect audience for most of the brands. They
Yeah.
want to be involved. Yeah.
Yeah. I love that. I think it's so
I'm so excited.
beautiful.
It's gonna be in
But
January. We have so many people already. Like we were hoping just to have like maybe 10 or 15, and we're like, oh my God. And then I'm flying in on Thursday to LA and doing a site visit at the new location, which is the new five-star Hilton in Beverly Hills. And
for the
then
Oscars, yeah.
Oscars. So I'll be doing a site visit, production meetings, all that stuff. And then in the morning, Lisa and I are Ubering out to Malibu and spending the whole day in Malibu, like, checking out everything, and then we're paying the rest of the event off on Friday. So we're just like, once we start posting this location, we're gonna have to cut it, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's
I don't
such,
want to have too many people because it's our
yeah.
first one. We want everybody to be super happy. I don't want to
Yeah,
be like,
yeah, and the nature of a retreat is more of an intimate setting.
yeah.
You are a sponsor of the La Colina retreats, which we're doing down
Yeah.
at my place in southern Chile, and I'm so excited because that is one of the things Heather will take care of for you if you are looking for your label to be put on some of her products. She's doing which she did for the event. She's done these awesome eye patches.
I
So
love them.
there's a 24 karat gold one. There's several different ones, and rose and aloe to help you feel like you're your best. And this is the perfect place for it. And there are several other things as well, which I'm so excited about. But definitely, I love what you're doing there. That's a whole other arm of what you do. And just like the young lady that was 14 at the event.
Oh, Alexa, my youngest sponsor, 14, bought her own table.
Yeah. Yeah. And
Oh yeah.
the
We're
thing.
actually redoing all her branding because we kind of got it together quick. So
Mhm.
she's now giving me her dream wish list of products. So I told her, like, go to online Sephora, look at packaging, because I just bought this at Sephora, and it was a pack of three for $45.
Yeah.
I know the COGS on this is like less than $1.
Right. Yeah.
So I was trying to explain that to her because like some people think, oh, I'm going to start my brand and it's so out of reach. Like I have to have all this money. And
Yeah.
I'm like, of course you have to have inventory and things like that, but you don't have to have 100 grand. You know what I mean? You really don't. And you can do minimum order of this like couple thousand, you know?
Yeah, so these are things that, that are beautiful things for you to be able to do. If you're interested in adding a product line to what you do already do, even if you're not a product specialist, I'm a coach and a co-host, and Alex and I, we do what we do, but we could very easily get in touch and add a product line.
I've
Um,
done love sprays, rose water with rose crystals
I
for
love
dating
that.
coaches, money manifesting stuff for, people
Yeah.
who coach in that space,
Burn a
for
candle.
events, you know what I mean? If they want things to give away like merch,
Yeah.
and, because I work with this great factory out in Detroit, I can get very low minimums for people too. So I have a lot of connections in that manufacturing
Mhm.
product space.
You do. You have tons of media connections too. Talk about those. Because, I saw the different groups that came in and wanted to interview you, Splash and Eden Magazine. And,
I did not do one interview at Emmys. I didn't do one
did you
interview.
not? They
I didn't
were all
take
before or
a
after?
standalone red carpet picture. I take that back. I did Spirit in Nevada
Yeah,
in hotel room because they flew in. But I just
that's
was
right.
people don't know what goes on behind the scenes.
Yeah.
I got left in the dust. My staff was calling in sick. They have since been replaced. The week of the event, I was staying up all hours of the night. I
Yeah.
was so tired. I drove in 2 days before, stayed at the Ritz-Carlton, to try to recharge before the event. And there was just so many things that I was still trying to finish. Like I had my portable printer in my hotel room, like
Yeah.
printing stuff. Like it was
I
insane.
have one of those too. Yeah, I
I
get
love
it.
it. It was my little treat I got myself for Oscars. Yeah, so I was so tired and I just did not care about doing interviews. I'm like, okay. But now I know what exactly needs to get done by what deadline, because you're
Yeah.
always learning, no matter what job or business you're in. There's always ways to refine systems
I
and
love that. Yeah.
yeah.
So I was looking right in leadership. It's like what worked, what didn't work, next cut, where we get to go next, right? Because that's the thing. You're like, doesn't it's growth, it's expansion, it's reworking, right? And just that the experience that you're creating, like you can tell you have a really strong vision, which again is something else we always talk about, right? Like
Yeah.
having a vision, you've been on the other side, you have a vision of what you want to create as the experience for your sponsors. And it sounds like even with, the 14-year-old, like you've got a vision for her and how to support her and just really kind of breaking that let's say a stigma, right? But like a
Yeah.
stigma of like of we get in our head. It's another example of how we get in our head of like, oh, it's too expensive. It's out of reach. It's not
There's
possible like for someone to
sponsors that aren't ready. They're like, I'm not ready. I'm like, I wasn't ready. I was making my
I
anti-psych
wasn't ready.
scrub in my garage, in my garage. And I
Yeah.
was like, and then after I did my first couple events, I was like, I don't need to be paying these marketing people to get me articles. I just met 40 writers.
Yeah.
You- And I started getting my own Google hits and all this and all these articles. And now I don't even have to do any of that stuff anymore. It just
Yeah.
comes. And then speaking of Alexa, the 14-year-old, we had a great spread done by Eden Magazine.
I
And
love that.
picture of her made it in, and she was so happy. Yeah. So they're going to be coming back too.
Yeah, she's a
The magazine is
sweetheart.
good. Yeah, she's
So
really
for
sweet.
someone that would want to get started with sponsorship, I mean, I feel like you hear this word sponsorship. What does it actually look like and entail?
Yeah.
And for someone that, would like to learn more about this and get into it, because as you're saying, I feel like it feels like it's very much out of reach, but what I'm hearing you say, Heather, is like it's actually not as out of reach as you probably imagine, and there's ways to get started.
Mhm.
Oh,
What is
yeah. So I always say this. So even if you're new, like people are like, well, I'm brand new. I'm like, well, that's like the perfect time. Any stage of the game, right? Media is always good. But if you're brand new or like your products are going to be done and ready to go, like, because I have an event every 6 months, Oscars or Emmys. That's it. I do two and I do them very well. And then, and so if you have your product, your launch strategy should be actually to be at one of these events, or if you have a new product coming out or you're rebranding, because you're going to meet all the media people. You're going to get guaranteed placements. No other lounge guarantees placements. And I have to give a shout out to Nicole, my publicist. She's wonderful.
Yeah.
She's my event publicist, and she is the one that handles media and the celebrity RSVPs. And you're going to get all of that stuff in one day. You're going to also get, with my event, it's a 2-day experience. You get the sponsor meetup the night before. That's strictly for sponsors only.
That was
Food,
fun.
drinks, and people network. I mean, I noticed one brand was talking to another brand about European distribution. Like they were literally sitting there having basically a meeting at the meetup, which I think is awesome. That's
Yeah.
what it's for, because the day of the event, you're always going to be focused on yourself, as you should be. And I remember when Doris would do her events, I'd always want to network. No one wants to network. Sorry, they just don't. Day of the event,
No.
they just, not until the end, maybe when everyone's drinking and stuff, but
Yeah.
not,
That
not
was fun too.
yeah. And then, and then I do the sponsor breakfast for everyone, because guess what? When I was a sponsor, I would be by myself. Somebody would show up to help me. I wouldn't eat. So people would come in. I'd be down in water all day, starving. So I make sure, just waiting for the past appetizers, because I was starving. So I do the breakfast. I
Yeah.
do past appetizers specifically for the party for sponsors. If they're stuck at their table, there is stuff that's going to be passed around that they can grab.
Yeah.
I have extra staff that can grab people water, all that stuff. Everything is taken care of, And if somebody wants to be a sponsor, they can go to beautybrandcoaching.com, click on events. You can also see all the TV appearances I do where I promote all the brands.
Yes. And
Um,
then you do an additional media package too. So
mhm.
frankly, it's amazing the cost of this advertising and this visibility that's available for you. And it's important for us to be able to, nobody can buy from us if we're not visible, right? They don't know you exist. So this is a really beautiful way to lean in, and then Heather provides this additional media package that's available. It's an amazing deal,
It
Heather,
is. Yeah, and
that
we can do a
can,
pre or a post press release, or two
yeah,
post
yeah,
releases, handle it all for you. It's just done A to Z, top notch, yeah, and people, I think a lot of people think it's just so crazy expensive to do these things, and it's actually quite affordable.
it's not, yeah,
It's very affordable, and you get in the room, and most people do Oscars and Emmys, or Emmys and Oscars. They like to do two in a row. And I have 80% of my sponsors come back, at least, 2 to 3 times, you know what I mean?
yeah,
International people are coming back, you get content for days. I mean, we delivered over 5,000 photos and videos. I mean, I'm still cutting reels from 2 events ago.
yeah. I know that. I know what that's like. I totally understand that. And it's amazing again, just the professionalism, your marketing expertise, what you lean into. And I'm so excited about your Camp Manifest.
Oh, me
Um,
too.
and with your coaching, lean into your coaching that you do. It's all about this, isn't it?
It's not really about manifesting for my coaching, because it's mainly for like branding and manufacturing.
Yeah.
Really, and I've been like the keynote speaker at several conventions, including White Label, for many years. And it's really about educating. Like when I'm coaching someone, I'll help them with, their brand strategy, their press kit, their retail press deck, things like that. And getting them in wholesale places, because I sell Beauty Kitchen. Oh God, we've been in probably 14,000 wholesale locations. So I
Wow.
have those connections that I can just hand over to my clients. So it's like, I'm just opening the doors for my clients. Like,
Yeah.
hey, do you need this? Okay, let me call this person. Actually, funny enough, LOH Whiskey, right after Oscars, I just got her whiskey brand into Churchill Downs. Two phone
Nice. Nice.
2 phone calls. She was like screaming. So I'm very, very connected. So a lot of people hire me as a coach, and I go, what's the specific thing that you need me to help you with? Like I had another brand, she was launching some kits, really wanted to do something with a housewife. Not only did I get the deal done with a housewife, but I got the housewife to do it on a commission split, no upfront fees.
Yeah.
I'm able to do, because I know a lot of people. I can reach out to people I love being like the behind the scenes chick, it's, except for
That's
at
a
the,
connection, right? That's that
But
connection again. That
yeah,
connection, that currency of what you
yeah,
create, right, for the people in your sphere. So it's just like it's power, and you can see you have fun. Like
yeah.
you have like all it's like a jigsaw, right, behind the scenes,
yeah.
putting it all together, and then you make this masterpiece.
And it's so cool too, because it's like people are like, wow, you got that done. I just got this new VC backed client. They were looking for a specific product. I can't get into it, because it's all NDAs, but it was a very niche
Yeah.
product. I found their manufacturer, I found their containers, their bags, everything they needed, all done, sample shipped within 2 weeks. They had been working on with several other people for months and just a lot of wasted money.
Mm,
So now we're moving on to the PR phase where I think they're gonna do as soon as we know when their run's gonna be done, they're gonna be at one of my events to do their big launch.
yeah.
But yeah, it's working with the right people and educating. Like when I do my keynote speeches, I talk a lot about ingredients and things, and you know, don't cut corners, or don't think, well, I can get it like 20 cents less here. Do you really
Yeah.
know the manufacturer? Like again, this example of this, this full exact product was probably landed $1 less depending on how much run they did. But you could end up with this with your ingredients, but the inside could give people rashes, or because it's just not. So you really
It
need to
it
know who you're
builds the
working with.
long game, doesn't it? It really
Yeah.
builds the long game because I've already got you on my list for some of the things that I'm going to be doing in the future. And I wouldn't if I had gone and had a poor quality product or a poor quality experience. I would have been like, no, this isn't worth it. This doesn't resonate with what I'm doing. But because you put the time and the detail and the effort into it, I'm like, and the speed that you're able to do these things at, I'm like, this makes sense. This is where time is money and it's a
Exactly what
beautiful
I was gonna
area.
say, because I can get someone to market, fast track it 45 days to market on
Yeah,
Amazon with a product, depending on MOQs and what it is. Like another
yeah.
thing I'm working on right now, they need a custom mold and some things like that because of a patent issue. But that's fine. We work through it all, but yeah, time is money. If you're building your site and you're doing your mock-ups, and another thing too, a lot of people don't think about this, right? Like if you're ordering 20,000 products, obviously you're not going to airship those. It's going to cost you too much. A lot of people don't think, like, this is what I had happen with one of my other clients. So I was like, okay, you're ordering 50,000. Why don't you just airship 5, 6,000? That way you can get to selling,
Yeah.
get your UGC content, whatever it is, the route you're going to go on social, because I don't do any
Yeah.
social media stuff. And then the rest come in 30 days, and then you're replenished. And then that way, it was only an extra $1,000, but you're not like, is the boat here yet? Is the boat here yet? You can
Yeah.
get going. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Because
And
it's
it's putting the Pareto principle in action, isn't it? It's like
yeah,
if you just break it up, then it starts to multiply and go exponential, which I love. I think that's so powerful. Um, when you when do you feel like you saw the biggest leap in your own personal transformation of doing the work that you do? I know that you started, was it Illinois? Illinois or with the luxury dog.
Oh yeah, I used to have luxury dog accessory boutiques. Yes. Funny enough, wasn't even a dog person when I opened them, but now I'm like, I cannot live without my fur babies. Weston gets his snack bowl every night. It's absolutely ridiculous. Yeah, so yeah, I started doing that stuff. I had a staffing agency back in the day. I think recently, I think there's always leaps, right?
Yeah.
Like there's always things because you're constantly growing and pivoting. But I think for me personally, the decision to partner with another factory and actually close my personal factories down was the best decision I ever made.
Wow. And
It
that
was
that
the
took courage, right?
it was so weird. People were like, it was like bittersweet, right? I'm like, I built all this. I really wanted to employ all these people and really do good for the community because it was in a small town outside of Vegas. And I was just, but I just couldn't do it anymore. I couldn't do it anymore. I feel like there has to be reciprocal, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
And it just, now I'm making, 70% of the same money on the orders and 0% of that overhead. And
Yeah.
now I do more things like camp, there's a con film festival, there's festival event that I might be doing.
Yeah.
I need to get with Nicole and really iron out those details. But, I can do more fun things,
Right.
and things that I really enjoy doing. And I'm not babysitting 17 people.
Yes, exactly. You're not hurting cats.
Talking instead of putting the lotion in the container.
That's so funny. That's my affectionate term is hurting cats.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't have any of that. And now I can, have, people that worked with me over there help me with other things, like Helen that's here today,
Yeah.
she's smart. She was one of my best people over there, but I can, have her do other things that she wants to do that isn't backbreaking factory work.
Right, exactly. Like it's learning how to take the pieces of the puzzle that you have in front of you and be able to put them in a different order that works better. And
Yeah.
that is one of the scariest things that people can do because it doesn't feel safe because they're like, oh, this has been working. Like producing in our comfort zones is one of the most dangerous things we can do because then we get where, okay, I'm at this level, I'm comfortable, I'm good. It's okay to be content in any level that we're at. And we want it to be satisfying and fulfilling work. But when we quit stretching ourselves and quit growing, that's when we start to go backwards, right? We're no longer living, we're dying. And so to be able to
I
take this step is powerful to get out of your comfort zone and to go, no, I'm going to change this. I'm going to change what this looks like.
Yeah, and it was weird because it was like I had started small and then I started taking over all the buildings and the parking lot.
Yeah.
It was great to see that I was able to do that. But,
Yeah.
was I sad to see it go? A little bit. But then I started to think about my own mental health, and my own mental health started to really suffer going over there because it was just a lot of employee issues and all that stuff. And I was like, my mental health is way more important. And I was just asking the universe, like, there has to be like a way that I can keep all of the stuff going for my
Yeah.
clients and not have to deal with this stuff. Right.
Right.
And I got this random phone call one day, and now we're working together. And,
Yeah.
everything's all set up in Detroit. They have this huge 500,000 square foot place. And we were on the phone last night and we're throwing each other clients and all this stuff, and everybody's taken care of and everybody's happy.
Yes. Yeah. Man,
Yeah.
bam.
Yeah.
Right.
And it was funny. I
Immediately
was like, get rid of everything. And they're like, you don't want to keep any of this stuff? I'm like, get rid of it. I
done.
got a couple of tables, like the stainless steel ones, to put in my garage and a few things, but yeah, I got rid of it. It was not this lady who was a baker came and bought like the big, like giant mixers we had. And she was like, I can't believe you're selling these so cheap. I need these so bad for my business. And I'm like, take it.
Yeah.
Gave her the stainless steel table to go with it for free. I'm like, you want this table?
Girl.
But it was great. And then she's probably making a lot of money with those mixers. So I didn't need them. And I surely was not putting that in my kitchen.
I
Well,
love
it's another example of the quality of your questions determines the quality of your life. And
yeah.
you put it out to the universe, right? Ask the question,
Yep.
and all of a sudden, ring, ring, and
Yeah, and it was out of nowhere, out of nowhere. And we're doing so much business together. I mean, I have so many samples of masks and everything that I can do going out today to like 10 of their clients. And then I'm like, you just work with I deal with you and you deal with your client, and I'll get the manufacturing part done. Just tell me where to ship it to. I'll send you all the mock-ups. I'll send you all the sheets, everything you need to get on Amazon and Walmart and all that stuff, because I know that stuff. Like I've had clients come to me and, and they're like, I'm like, where are your certifications? Like, you can't get on Amazon without this stuff. And they're like, huh? They didn't give me that. I'm like, so I try to be, do the extra because you got to set people up for success. I'm not one of those
Yes.
people that's like, oh, if I don't give them all the information, they'll have to pay me again. That's not right. Set them up for success. And guess what? They're going to refer you people. If they need something else, they're always going to come back if you do right by people. Like that's why I always say, like, even with the events.
I would love to know if you have ever done any kind of, have you taken a leadership course? Because one of the principles that I learned in leadership was leaders show up early. And in the work you and I are doing together, well, first of all, in the work we do together, what's been the most transformative for you? And have you done a leadership course? Because you always show up early, like you are on it. And I think that is something that is, there's power behind that that we don't even fully know how to recognize all of it, but it puts us in a seat of proactivity rather than reactivity. Brian's the same way. He's always showing up early
Yep.
places. And, that's something that I look forward to getting even stronger at in my own life is always being the one that's early because the science behind it, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I've never taken a leadership course. Maybe I should make one.
You
Just
are a
kidding.
leader. Yeah.
I've always just, I even in college, I had to work, I had to, I remember I was like what do you call it, like a Miller Lite model, And I was like, give me all the shifts. Then I ended up like helping the lady with her business, you know what I mean? Because I was the most in the star student, But I've just always been that way. And I feel like, and one of the things that the biggest takeaway for the class that I'm in with you is just the positivity and just looking at the evidence, because I have been very tired lately. I've got the dog that's barking all day because he's getting old. And sometimes I'm at my wit's end. I feel like I have a screaming toddler here.
Yeah.
And then it's like, you've done it before, you can do it again. It's okay to take the rest of this day off. It's okay. Like
Yes.
sometimes I feel like I gotta be getting my stuff done, you know what I mean? But I'm like, I'm just gonna watch a movie. And I did that the other day. I sat on the couch with him. For anybody watching, watch American Sweatshop. The best.
Okay.
It was so good. It was about content moderators. Very.
Okay.
So I just sat there and watched the movie, and then I thought, okay, all right, now I can be a little more relaxed.
Well, what do you feel like was in your childhood that helped you to cultivate, like, were you great in school? Were you like
Yeah.
not so good in school and things came afterwards? What did your early years look
My
like?
grandparents raised me, mainly my grandma. I was bi-coastal, New York and California, depending on whose house we were at. I mean, they were together, but they've been
Yeah,
together some time.
I get that.
Grandma very strict. Made me study. I had to, she would time things. I know that people might be like, wow, that's really mean. But she would like lock the door and be like, I'll be back in 2 hours. She'd give me like a charcuterie, I remember. Maybe that's why I love charcuterie.
Yeah, I love sugar cookery.
You got to get this done, wealthy, family growing up or whatever. But, I wasn't allowed to just go to the mall with a credit card like my friends were. She'd be like, if you want to go, you got to do this, you got to do this, you got to do this. I'd be like racing around, getting all the chores done so I could go, shopping in the mall. So I was just raised that way, and to respect people and, understand that, not everybody is going to have the same opinion. I have so many friends that have complete opposite political opinions of me. And they're like, you're the only person I can talk to that has the opposite political opinion because I can actually sit back and I can actually like hear other people's sides in any kind of situation.
I
I'm
love
not a
that.
reactive person,
Yeah.
so I don't know. It's just a quality of a good grandma who was super strict. Very strict.
But
Oh my
then,
God.
as you've come along, one of the things I've gotten to learn about you, and especially based on your social media, follow her social media, is that you balance in the play and the
Oh yeah. I like to have
there's
fun with the
somewhere
real.
on in the line you like one of the dangers can be that we always put work first and we never get to the play or the celebration and then we never get to the play or celebration because there's always work to do. So I love that you've built in harmony in your life in that way.
Oh yeah, when I have clients or former sponsors or current sponsors or whoever it is that's in town in Vegas, I'm always like, let's go have a breakfast at the Four Seasons. I will start my day there, have a
Brian loved that. He loved that.
then come home, or because I'm not, I'm up at like 4:30, 5 o'clock
Yeah.
every morning at the latest. So I'm in sleep. Skincare is done and everything typically by 7. Dogs are fed pretty early than, Westing is. So I have a very strict routine through the week. So I was very excited on Monday when my friend Jacqueline wanted to go to dinner and I said, "Can we go early?" And she found a steakhouse that opened at 3:30.
I love it. I love it.
Oh, it was the best. I had one martini, came home, showered, went to sleep. I'm still asleep by 7:30. It was great.
That
Yeah.
is so beautiful. And Alex, having met Heather in person, you guys are probably about the same height, and same. She's like a mighty mouse, I can tell you. Heather, she's like,
Everyone always thinks I'm bigger, and then they meet me and they're like, "You're so tiny." And I'm like, I don't know. I've always photographed like taller or bigger,
yeah.
always,
Well, it's because of
Somebody
your
thought I was
presence.
like 5'10". I was like, I wish.
Because of your presence, your power. Like
Yeah.
that's what comes out in the photographs, and people automatically equate that with height. But it's really the energy. Yeah.
Yeah, I had one of the sponsors because I posted a picture of me and my friend Jacqueline and I went out and she's very tall, like a model body, right? And she's like, "Wow, I thought you were like 5'10", but I was like, there's no way because that girl would have had to been like 6'10". And I was like,
Right. Like tiny but mighty. It's all about what we internalize. And that's where the power comes from. And that's a beautiful thing because, sharing our gifts and like you're a bright, shining light. You really are. And you inspire so many people. You encourage so many people. And I just think that, we need more inspirational people like you around for sure.
Thank you. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
I'm really trying here. All you can do is just do your best every day, right?
Yeah. Yeah,
That's it.
it's true.
Your best.
Anything you want to lean into before, well, Alex and we always ask what is it that you would leave us with to be unleashed and unstoppable?
Well, one of my biggest pieces of advice that I always say is stop caring about what anybody thinks. Don't worry about being perfect on social media.
Yeah.
Um, less people are probably watching than you think, and sometimes more people are watching than you think, but don't worry about being perfect. Just be yourself. Authenticity is what sells and it's the best. I mean, I'll get on the phone with clients and I'm like, hold on, let me get my vape, like
Yeah.
I'm me. I'm
Yeah.
getting the work done regardless, I'm the girl that will show up legitimately in sweatpants and a hoodie. And I did that when I had the public company. And they actually asked me to dress more appropriate for meetings. And I said, nah.
Good for you. Good for you.
But be
I love
yourself.
your authenticity. Yeah.
Yeah, be yourself, have fun. No one's perfect. Don't redo that reel because one little thing's off. Like just be fun, yourself and authentically you.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, it would be so hard to just keep up a facade all the time.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
unfortunately, I know some people that are doing that, and I don't know how they live like that. So,
Yeah.
I'd rather just be like, I'm me. I go to
This
bed
is
early.
me. This
Me
is
and my
me.
dog bowl post every night. That's it.
Yeah. I think both of you do that really well. And that's something that I know that I do a little bit. I do a lot more messy than I ever used to, but it's powerful and I could lean in further there for sure.
Messy is sexy, Carol. Messy is sexy.
Messy is sexy. I like that better than doing it messy. I'm gonna take that. That's definitely quotable.
Yeah.
Messy is sexy. Yeah,
Yeah.
I love
But then I'm extra sexy.
that. And you're just, you're gorgeous. So, and that comes from inside too. Yeah, it's physical. I get that. And there are plenty of physically beautiful people out there, but it's the energy that we bring that comes from the inside. It's so powerful. So,
For sure.
okay, you heard it from Heather's mouth. If you want to be unleashed and unstoppable, be authentically you, right?
Yep. No
Messy.
more perfection of pursuit of perfection because no one's perfect.
Wear the sweatpants if you want to. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
I've got this nice outfit on and I have a meeting at 2 and I will be wearing, I'm not wearing dress shoes. I'm wearing my black Yeezys with this, just like I was wearing my Yeezys with my dress at the event.
you
You
were. Yeah.
know, Oscars, I forgot to put my heels on. I did the red carpet in flip-flops.
Good for
And
you.
somebody goes, you have flip-flops on still. I said, screw it. I don't want to go downstairs. I'm too busy.
That can be edited, right? And it's this idea that we all have to fit into this box or this image
Mhm.
that's
Yeah.
perfect, and now that's turning everybody off. Nobody wants that anymore. Um,
I don't think anybody ever wanted that, you know?
yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
think anybody ever wanted that. It's just, be yourself, be a good person, don't screw people over. You're gonna see them on the way up, just on the way down, just like so you'll see them on the way up, full circle. Like I wouldn't be able to even take over these events from Doris if I didn't have a good reputation with media and these celebrities, you
Right.
know? If I had a bad, if I was like, she screws people over, I wouldn't have been able to do it,
It goes back to the relationship piece, right? That power of relationship and developing that, and the integrity in that relationship that you through all through the relationships that you've
Yeah,
built, right? It's
exactly.
important. So I think it goes back to the way that you show up, your demeanor, your ways of being are so much in relation to a lot of the leadership work that Carol and I have done previously and that I've coached into a lot. And so just seeing a lot of those parallels, right? Like
Mhm.
it's um it's it's the yeah, like the experience, right? So not just the experience that you're creating for people in terms of as sponsors, but this relationship that you're building with people as your clients, with your partners. It's just this whole relationship and experience that you're building with the people in your sphere, even if it includes wearing flip-flops, right? Like, but that's
Yeah,
just also giving them permission to be real and raw. And you know what? Comfort is more important when you're running around, than
Yeah.
putting on those heels, right? So it's that
exactly.
reminder, that permission again to be you, own you, and it reiterates the authenticity piece that you talked about
Yeah.
earlier. So
If it wasn't for the interviews that I have to do, I would literally be wearing a tracksuit and hair and makeup would be done, but I would be definitely in a tracksuit and tennis shoes if I
You
could
look
be.
so gorgeous. So again, I love the red and I love the black, and I love the mix. I love the post you did when you were in the Chanel, and I know you give us secrets about that. So definitely follow Heather. Heather, as we wrap up right now, we'll put your info, your website, and your social media links in the show notes and your bio. What would you like to leave us as where we can contact you today, right now,
The
listen?
best way to contact me, and literally I check my DMs, so does my whole team, is beauty brand coaching on Instagram. Because unfortunately, my Instagram, Heather Mariana, there's just no way I'll see your DM.
Okay.
So if you have a question about a product or any of that stuff, and then beautybrandcoaching.com, and then there's an events tab on there about Oscars and Emmys.
Okay. All right.
Thank
You
you.
are an influencer, my friend.
I
No,
do
I'm
have an
not.
idea. I gotta say before we wrap up, I got an idea for your next brand, Heather. The interviewable comfy sweats, right? Like something that's classic and chic, but super comfy that you could potentially wear it on the red carpet. I'm just saying, right? Like, I could see it because you've got the
Cashmere sweats.
stuff and
Yeah.
I feel like there's a way to get that out there, right? So,
Need to bring this. Remember the Snuggie back in the day?
yes.
I even had those for my dogs.
Yeah.
I can bring the Snuggie back.
I'm just saying, I mean, it's that powerful question. If we ask the universe, what could that look like? I
Talk
feel
to
like either
Ocean.
you or somebody listening today, maybe they'll like go and design it. They're like, okay, that's gonna be, yeah,
Me
that's gonna be the
too.
red carpet, comfy suit, sweat,
Yeah.
sweat
I
material,
do
whatever.
have a lot of those those are like Ralph Lauren. They're like outfits, like the satin pants and the top, and it looks like pajamas, but it's actually an outfit.
Yeah,
I've
I love
worn them
those. Yeah.
out with heels, and then I came home and washed my face, and I was like, I'm just gonna sleep at this. Like satin. Yeah. So I see what you're saying.
I'm looking out, Heather. I'm gonna watch your socials and watch out for like this like super comfy, like, yeah, interview outfit. Setting a
Oh,
new trend, right?
Mhm.
it's
All
been
right.
so amazing to have you. I'm so glad about everything you're doing. And, right now, go look at what she's doing with Camp Manifest, look at what she's doing with her beauty brand coaching. If you're considering having products, consider whether you might want to be an sponsor at one of her gifting suites upcoming. So, yeah, she's definitely one to follow, watch, and get in touch with.
Thank you so much, guys. Have a great day, everybody.
Thanks for
Ciao
being
for
here,
now.
Heather. Thanks for tuning in.
Bye.
Thanks for tuning in to another episode of the Unleashed Unstoppable podcast with your hosts, Alexander Carter and Cal Register.
If you enjoyed this episode and you'd like to help support the podcast, please share it with others, post about it on social media, or leave a rating and review, and subscribe.
That's all for this episode, Wildly Ambitious Leaders. See you next week.